بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, may Allah be pleased with him, went once to Umar ibn al-Khattab. He complained to Umar ibn al-Khattab by telling him, has anything happened in Islam? And he repeated that twice or three times. So Umar said, no, not that I know of.Hy are you asking? He said, I met your brother, Uthman ibn Affan, and he came in the opposite direction. I said, Assalamu alaikum. He stared at me and stared at me well and did not reply. And he walked by me. Umar ibn al-Khattab, may Allah be pleased with him, as the Caliph of the Muslims, wanted to resolve the problem. So he called Uthman to come to his gathering. And Uthman walked in. So immediately Umar asked him, Uthman, why didn't you reply the salam of your brother Sa'd? He says that he met you on the road, you stared at him, and he gave you salam, you didn't answer him back. So Uthman said, he did not. Sa'd was outraged. He said, I did. Uthman said, by Allah you didn't? Sa'd swore, Wallahi I did. And then all of a sudden, Uthman remembered. I said, yes, I seek Allah's forgiveness. You're right. But when I met you, I was so engaged mentally, trying to remember the first dua that the Prophet ﷺ taught us, and I cannot remember it. For one reason or the other, I just can't click it. Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, may Allah be pleased with him, told Uthman, I'll tell you this dua. Once we were with the Prophet ﷺ in the masjid, and he was telling us that the first supplication was of Prophet Jonah. And before the Prophet ﷺ completed his statement, a Bedouin came and he asked something from the Prophet ﷺ, and the Prophet was engaged in answering him back, and he forgot. So after he finished, he walked out, going out of the masjid. I followed the Prophet ﷺ, and when I was afraid that he's going to enter his house, which was adjacent to the mosque, I struck the floor with my foot to bring his attention. And the Prophet looked behind him and said, who's this? Is this Abu Ishaq? And this is the nickname of Sa'd. Sa'd said, yes, O Prophet of Allah. He told him, what do you want? He said, O Prophet of Allah, you're teaching us the first supplication of Prophet Jonah before this Bedouin came and asked you, and you did not complete or continue your teachings to us. So I just wanted to remind you. The Prophet said, yes, Jonah's supplication when he was in the belly of the whale was, La ilaha illa anta subhanak inni kuntu min al-zalimin. There is no God worthy of being worshipped except you. Glorify you, O Allah. I admit that I was wrong to myself. The Prophet tells us no Muslim prays and supplicates with this supplication. Whenever he does this, Allah Azza wa Jal, He will answer his prayer. Now, if we analyze this short and beautiful story, we will find that there are lots and lots of benefits we can get out of it. First of all, this story has three heroes, and all of these three heroes were given the glad tidings from the Prophet ﷺ that they are in paradise. They are the 10 companions of the Prophet ﷺ in paradise. And if you ask a lot of the Muslims nowadays to name them, they would fail. But if you ask about the latest top 10 songs on the chart, they'll tell you. If you ask them about the most box office winner movie, they'll tell you. But when it comes to the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, who cares? If it comes to the biography of the Prophet ﷺ, Muslims are ignorant. They neglect to learn their history. And that is why Muslims don't have a future and they don't have a present, because they have turned their back to their past and history. Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas met Uthman on the road. He, as any Muslim would say, Assalamu alaikum. And what benefit does this have? Well, the Prophet says that you will never enter paradise until you believe. And you will never believe until you become strongly associated together and have this emotion and love among you. Shall I tell you something that if you do it, this love and strong attachment would increase among you, spread Assalamu alaikum among you. So that is why whenever a Muslim meets another Muslim, he would say Assalamu alaikum, even if he does not know him. They always put in the back of the mind, the minute I say Assalamu alaikum, I will be granted 20 good deeds. If I say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, 30. If I say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh, it's 40. It's a lot of good deeds. Uthman stared at him and did not answer back. Sa'ad was outraged. Now, usually something like this happens to us, we would do something that we would regret later on. Not Sa'ad. First of all, he thought well of his brother and tried to give him a proper excuse. Why is that? Because a lot of the problems we have nowadays are due to the fact that we do not give any form of excuse to our brothers and sisters. And that's why tension is built and a lot of problems and grudges take place. Sa'ad ibn Abi Waqqas immediately went to Umar to complain and see maybe there is a reason behind Uthman neglecting him. And this is what we should do. Muslims should always seek an excuse for their brothers and sisters, because you never know, maybe he had an excuse that you do not know. Umar, may Allah be pleased with him, did not put a lid on it. And so many times we hear people say that time is sufficient to make things go back normally. And this is wrong. Time is not sufficient. On the contrary, the more you ignore such a problem, the more fuel Satan will add to the fire. And the more assistance he will get from his soldiers. The devils, have them be from jinn or from humans, they will come and whisper in your ears. He did not ignore you because he doesn't like you. He doesn't respect you. He thinks badly of you. And this grows and grows, and the enmity and hatred gets more and more in your heart against that brother of yours. Umar, he immediately brought Uthman to be present in front of him so that they can solve and resolve this issue now and forever. Umar did a very noble thing. He is trying to reconcile between two of his brothers. And the Prophet tells us that among the best deeds available is to reconcile between the two. And among the worst deeds in Islam is when you divide Muslims. And that is why the Prophet ﷺ tells us that a person who walks between two others, trying to divide them, separate them, and to throw enmity and hatred in their hearts against each other, will not enter paradise. He's worse than a backbiter, because he tells things that are not true with the intention of throwing enmity and hatred in their hearts. Likewise, the Prophet ﷺ tells us that whoever goes to a woman and turn her against her husband is not among us. And you can imagine how many mothers going to their daughters and telling them, why are you tolerating your husband? So the poor husband comes back home and he finds that his wife has turned against him. This mother is not considered to be among the followers of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If you swear on something and you think that it is right, then there's no sin on you. For example, somebody tells me, give me a pen. And I say, I don't have one. He said, yes you do. I said, by Allah, I don't have a pen. And seriously, I think that I do not have a pen, because what I remember that I left my pen at my house, but apparently I took it by mistake and put it without noticing. So I'm swearing on something that I entirely believe is true. Then there's no sin in that. Imagine the thing that was engaging Uthman's mind. He was not worried about the millions that he has in Syria or in the north or south of Arabia in trade. He was a billionaire. He was the richest companion of the Prophet ﷺ. He was not worried about his farms and his slaves. No. He was worried about supplication, something that draws him closer to Allah. Brothers and sisters, compare this to our lives, to our loved ones, to the problems that we have among our relatives for reasons that are so silly. If we sit on one table, we will resolve all of our differences in less than 5 minutes.